Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Spiritualist Desert Church Sunday service. If you are joining us via Zoom, please be aware we will keep your microphones muted throughout the duration of the service as we are recording this for YouTube. If you are viewing us on YouTube and would like a Zoom invitation for future services, please send us an email request. Thank you so much for joining us today. We welcome all of you who are here physically on Zoom, as well as those who have joined our fellowship from the Spirit Side of Life. My name is Jen Rosson, and I will be your chairperson today. I am a trustee on the board of Spiritualist Desert Church, co-chair of the Pastoral Committee, and an NSAC licentiate minister. I would also like to extend all of our good wishes for a very happy Mother's Day to all. With me today will be the Reverend Richard Schoeller delivering our sermon and spirit greetings, and Louise Barkdull will lead us in a healing meditation. Alice Robertson and Lynn Collier will be our Zoom hosts and moderators. Let us start our service with the invocation. Let us pray. Infinite intelligence, we join together in the company of Spirit at this moment of prayer. May we open our hearts and minds to receive strength and support as we walk our individual paths. We give thanks and appreciation to our dear mothers, grandmothers, and those who have been like mothers to us. Today we remember them all, whether here in the physical or in the spiritual realm. We celebrate their lives with gratitude and love. Amen. Spiritualist Desert Church is a chartered member of the National Spiritualist Association of Churches, headquartered in Lilydale, New York. The NSAC manual provides us with the definitions of our religion, and I would like to share these definitions of spiritualism and being a spiritualist with you now. Spiritualism is the science, philosophy, and religion of continuous life based upon the demonstrated fact of communication by means of mediumship with those who live in the spirit world. Spiritualism is a science because it investigates, analyzes, and classifies facts and manifestations demonstrated from the spirit side of life. Spiritualism is a philosophy because it studies the laws of nature, both on the seen and unseen sides of life, and bases its conclusions upon present observed facts. It accepts statements of observed facts of past ages and conclusions drawn therefrom when sustained by reason and by results of observed facts of the present day. Spiritualism is a religion because it strives to understand and to comply with the physical, mental, and spiritual laws of nature, which are the laws of God. A spiritualist is one who believes, as the basis of his or her religion, in the communication between this and the spirit world by means of mediumship, and who endeavors to mold his or her character and conduct in accordance with the highest teaching derived from such communication. As spiritualists, we have no dogmas or creeds, but we do have 9 principles that we strive to live by. Please join me now in declaring these principles. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We affirm the moral responsibility of individuals and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any soul here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing are divine attributes proven through mediumship. Excellent. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, the Reverend Richard Schoeller. Richard is the current Vice President of the International Spiritualist Federation and is a founding member of Summerland Church of Light, NSAC, in New York State. He holds the credentials of ordained minister, national spiritualist teacher, commissioned healer, and certified medium with the NSAC. Richard teaches and travels throughout the world, including England, Scotland, Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. He is one of Spiritualist Desert Church's valued friends and mentors. So please join me in welcoming the Reverend Richard Schoeller.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate the introduction and the welcome to you, to the Spiritualist Desert Church of Las Vegas, to my colleagues and friends. Thank you for being here with me today. May I serve you well, and may I serve Spirit well this morning or this afternoon, wherever you may be. So in thinking about what I could talk about in an attempt to try to encourage and uplift and support, I always ask the spiritual realm for some help. And one of the things that comes to mind this morning is the Reverend Joe Merrill, who was one of the former presidents of the NSAC. One of his teachings and one of his beliefs strongly was in the progression of the soul. And this morning, while I was having my morning tea, I was contemplating Joe Merrill and the progression of the soul. And what comes to mind in light of the times that we're in unprecedented times. We're in times that I don't think most all of us can say that we've ever experienced anything like this. And in relationship to being in this space of some uncertainty, we have an opportunity to pause, look at our lives, reevaluate our experience, and consider the past as it was, the present as it is, and the hope for the future. And I say the hope for the future because we can't predict what the future will be. But what I know from what Reverend Joe Merrill used to speak about is that the progression of the soul is always, if I may, onward and upward. And so even in these times, even at the time that we are living in right now, my dear friends, our soul is evolving itself. We are given the opportunity right now, in light of the current circumstances, to contemplate our past and consider what works for us. What in our past went well? What of the past can we hold on to as something that is secure and strong in a time where nothing really feels secure? And we can reevaluate our past and sit with thoughts around the way we want to move forward into the future. We don't know the future, but we can take what we know of ourselves and the past and consider how we're going to evolve that into the next phase of our life, whatever that may be. In the evolution of the soul, the progression being onward and upward, I'm not ready to pass into the spiritual realm. At least let me finish this service first before I do, okay? But in the experience of the spiritual realm, onward and upward, the evolution of the soul spiritually, we hear from our teachers and from family members and friends that in the spiritual realm, we reside in a rate of vibration that feels most comfortable to us, and that we can't expand or move past that rate of vibration in the spiritual realm because that atmosphere would be uncomfortable to us. In this life and in this experience, while we're dealing with COVID-19, it's not comfortable to us, but we have an active choice how we want to deal with it. We can't move past it in this moment because it's happening. But we don't have to force ourselves into seclusion. We don't have to force ourselves. I'm not speaking of isolation. I'm talking about emotional seclusion. We don't have to put ourselves away and pack ourselves away in light of this. We don't have to allow for depression to overtake us. We don't have to allow ourselves to listen to certain things and allow the fear in those messages to run us. We can allow for the evolution of our soul in such a way that we can hear what is happening, we can acknowledge what is happening, but stand strong and true in the moment as we do as spiritualists in order to be able to move forward into the future. We know that life continues. That's not a question. That is an absolute given. We understand that. We know that healing is involved in our spiritualist service. There's no question to that. But at this time, the question that comes up is, how do we take what we know and live in a world that is uncertain at this time and operate from a place of knowing without allowing the tsunami of information and the tsunami of fear to stop us or stop us? Nobody's stopping, my dear friends, even though we're living at a time where we don't have a certain level of normalcy in our life or a certain level of what we're used to in socialization, or even a celebratory experience, how it's changed, especially for Mother's Day or birthdays or family events. It's all changed. But it hasn't stopped us from reaching out to say Happy Mother's Day. It hasn't stopped us from celebrating each other. It hasn't stopped us from being relational in a way that we can. Bringing this back to the evolution of the soul, we're being given the opportunity right now to look at our past experience, to consider our past and understand what works for us, to contemplate it in the quiet of these moments, to reflect on it in the beauty that we're able to witness at this time, and to consider what we would like to do in the future with it. The same is true in the spiritual realm. Again, we're not pushing anyone into the spiritual realm right now. In the experience of this moment, you have at the core of your being a belief. Every single one of us believes that we are made in love, irrespective of our parents' relationship. I'm not speaking to being made in love biologically. I pray that is true for all of us, but I'm speaking of the source that created all beings. The choice to be physically incarnate was a choice in love. And so as human beings who are living on this planet from a space of love, deep within our being, expressed through our being, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, we have a choice at this point to be able to stay in the place of knowing and love that we are, the divinity that we are, or we have the choice to allow for the tsunami of information that surrounds us to overwhelm us, take us over, and then operate from that place. That is a choice. If we also agree as spiritualists that the world is operating under natural law, and we consider the law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of love, the law of harmony, and the law of desire, 5 laws, if we consider those in these moments, and we choose to stay in fear around the uncertainty of knowing, we will attract to us by our thought, by vibration, by desire, thoughts that will evoke fear within us. If we choose to stay in a place of love, and if we choose to stay with thoughts that are affirming, and we choose to not allow fear to overtake us, then we're going to attract to us by the law of love, by the law of attraction, by the law of desire, by the law of thought. We will attract to us those energies, those thoughts, those beliefs that support moving in the world in a place of love. So What does all of this mean? All of this means that you and I, as human beings living in these physical bodies, in these fabulous physical bodies that we have, and believing what we believe, have the power to be able to move in the world by our own choices. Now, that does not say that we should ignore what is going on around us. I'm not suggesting that in any way, shape, or form. Pay attention. Be informed by what's going on around you, but allow your inner knowing to inform you even more about how you want to operate with the information. We can choose, I can choose, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I am choosing, let's be honest. I'm baking. It's a way, I've shared this with some of you already, it's a way for me to manage my anxiety and do something creative. And I keep saying to myself, as I've adjusted the waistcoat and the belt on my slacks, I keep saying to myself, don't worry, I'm going to get back to what I was, okay? I will. I know what I'm doing is a form of comfort. I get that. And I'm choosing that and allowing it and making humor about it. Because in these times, it's so intense. Why would I want to beat myself up over something such as that? So I will adjust. I've adjusted my belt, I'll adjust it again. What I'm encouraging for all of us is, as we move through these days, that we also take the time in knowing who we are in the space in between the past and the future, staying present to the moment and being gentle with ourselves based upon the decisions we're making under the circumstances, not abusing or maligning ourselves because of what we're doing. Understand that we're doing it as a coping mechanism. And understand that that coping mechanism is for the time. It may not necessarily be the way we live fully in our lives all the time normally. I feel like Scarlett O'Hara when she was holding the carrot in Gone with the Wind and said, "As God is my witness, I will never go hungry again." Not my best impression. But the point being, yes, I know I'm not going to go hungry. That's not the issue. I know that after this, whether it be before the end or when I feel comforted enough, I will shift the way I think. And I will not hold on to the need for comfort in that manner. And I will move into what works well for me. I'm suggesting this as a reminder for all of us, because all of us have coping mechanisms or skills or abilities that we're using right now in order to be able to function in the world. I had a friend post on Instagram yesterday, this very sexy gentleman who was shredded, and it said protein. And then the next picture had this man who was even more buff, more muscular and shredded, and it said creatine. And then the third picture had this big, heavy, beer-bellied gentleman, and it said quarantine. And I burst out laughing, because I can understand that. I'm not going to take pictures of me with a beer belly, I promise you. But I'm stating that we're living in times where we're allowing ourselves to use defense mechanisms. Coping mechanisms, and I'll even say defense for me in my own defense. Coping mechanisms to help us get through this time. But it is not the sum total of our experience. So, bringing this back to the progression of the soul, bringing this back to what Joe Merrill said, bringing this back to an understanding of spiritualism. We have a past that we've experienced for however many years we've been on this planet, whether they be a young 22 years or 64 years or more or less is irrelevant. We have a past that we've had in our experience on this planet. We have the present circumstance. We have in our understanding the progression of our being a choice that we have in front of us to choose whether we want to operate in a place of love or in a place of fear, remembering that we are divine beings, and from the source and hopefully our biological parents, we were born in a place of love. And while we don't know what the future holds, we have the opportunity to hold in our vibration through the law of thought, through the law of harmony, through the law of love, through the law of desire, and through the law of action, to be able to manifest our experience of life and the future if we continue to put out positive, affirming thought vibrations and draw to us that with which will serve us to our highest good. In that being said, there's one more part that is unbelievably important in my discussion with you today, and that is the realization that while we speak of spirit, and we speak of our relatives and friends who have crossed from this life into the next life, and we speak to the understanding that life does not end and that our physicality transitions from this into the spiritual physicality, and that we move ahead in the spiritual realm. Let's take this opportunity to rely on, to feel supported by, to connect with the spiritual realm, to connect with our family and friends who have crossed over, to ask for their support, whether it be emotional or physical or mental. Ask those who we've loved, who want so much to be connected to us as well, for their support, because that's the support that will also support our being in a place of love rather than fear. And in that, you might, whether it be through myself as a medium today on this service, or another medium friend or someone you know, receive a message that will help you to feel the strength of that, to help you to feel supported at a time when we don't know what will be evolving next. In this, it's important to acknowledge that all of you made a choice today to be a part of this service. All of you wanted to come together in this group format to be able to receive some hope and inspiration. All of you wanted to be able in some way to see each other from the Spiritualist Desert Church. And for those of you who are not necessarily members, but friends of the Spiritualist Desert Church, you wanted to be a part of this service and to feel a sense of upliftment. Whether or not I speak to you today saying that your mom or your dad or your grandma, your grandfather are standing with you right now, whether you get that message from me directly or not, let me, with every ounce of my fiber, give you absolute reassurance that those men and women you've loved who have crossed from this life into the next life, and those pets who have been so dear to you, who have moved into the spiritual realm, are sitting with you in your homes, helping you to manage what is going on in the world, giving you support in moments when you least expect it. Trust that, believe that, and know that, and continue to make choices made in love. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard, for your very timely words of wisdom and inspiration. This is the time in our service for our love offering and our announcements. We continue to accept donations by check to the address on your screen, which will be coming up here in just a second. We are continuing to work on our PayPal link for our website and Facebook page. Thank you for being patient with that. And thank you for your continued support of Spiritualist Desert Church. We are currently closed for in-person services now and into an unknowable future. However, our board of directors and the pastoral committee are always available if you have need of food from our food pantry. If you would like to talk with us or you have questions, you can reach us at any of the listed sites on your screen. You may also watch a replay of this service on our YouTube channel if you search Spiritualist Desert Church on YouTube. Next week, our speaker will be Paula Molino, an NSAC licentiate minister. For our members, please note the email you received that went out last week regarding your church dues, which are coming up. If you have any difficulties, please contact us for assistance. And the May-June issue of Spotlight is available. If you would like a copy sent to you, please email us and we will get one in the mail. And I think that's it for announcements. As we begin the healing portion of our service, we invite you to join us in a healing meditation led by Louise Barkdull, Secretary of our board and co-chair of the Pastoral Committee. And if you would please join me now in praying the prayer for spiritualist healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God. Amen. And now Louise will lead our guided meditation.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you're joining us from. We're going to spend a few minutes being in the presence of infinite intelligence and that wonderful healing energy that is always available to us. I would ask you to start by taking a couple of deep cleansing breaths in through your nose, releasing out through your mouth. We're going to, for a few minutes, discard the weights that we carry around in this physical existence. We're going to let go any other thoughts and just focus on right now. Focus on your breath. Focus on your breathing. Release any other thoughts of the physical things that we have to do later. Release them and let them go. Any dis-ease, release it and let it go. There is nothing but right now and your breath. Visualize above you a ball of white light that represents that healing energy. And as you continue to release the cares of the physical, allowing you to relax and be open to that healing energy. The more you relax, the bigger that healing energy ball will become. The more you relax, and as that healing energy expands, it will expand enough to surround you. As you relax, feel that healing energy as it surrounds you. Feel it comfort you. Feel it come in through your skin, working through your muscles, working through your veins, coming into every cell. Coming into your mind. Continue to relax, having that deeper connection with that energy. Feel it refreshing you, healing you. healing your body, healing you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. That healing energy works on all levels. And when we are relaxed and invited in, it is able to work with us on all those levels, giving us exactly what we need, refreshing us, renewing us, healing us. And when we pay special attention, we feel not just the healing energy, but the energy of each other, as we are all connected with that divine spark within each of us. For though we are separated, we are never alone from each other. We are all connected. Now that we've been refreshed, it is time to start heading back more fully into the physical. Take a couple of deep breaths, realigning, ready to face the rest of the day and the week until we meet again. Opening your eyes, feeling wonderful, feeling refreshed, and feeling grateful for this energy that does so much for us. Have a blessed week, and thank you, Spirit.
Thank you so much, Louise. We continue to maintain our healing list and send out absent healing prayers on a daily basis. If you wish to add someone to our healing list, please send us an email request and we will put them on there. As we close our service, we would like to invite you to join us for a virtual fellowship where your microphones will be unmuted and we can chat together following the benediction. And if we can pray our benediction for blessing on all of us right now. Infinite intelligence, we give thanks for Spirit's presence during our service today. May we be blessed during the week to come, giving us protection, wisdom in our decisions, and the understanding of Spirit working in our lives. May each one of us be blessed. Amen. Thank you for joining us today. Please remember all of those who are striving to keep us safe and healthy during this crisis. Please include them in your prayers and meditations. And please remain on Zoom for our virtual fellowship. Alice and Lynn will unmute our microphones.